look up to the skies. It's a bunch of crazy guys. They'll catch you in the street while you're eating next to meat. Don't you look them in the eyes. It's recover the supplies. In a world of thought and spies, they'll recover the supplies.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Recover the Supplies. I'm your Game Master, Brendan Franz. I've got Ryan, Jay, Tim, our Stabcast, Fifth Trooper, and Crabbit friends here. And we are back in this adventure in Star Wars RPG. And Jay, if you want to go ahead and give us the recap, go ahead and tell us where are we at and what's going on.
Yeah, so I'd like to kind of describe it like a movie, right? So Garo, Nisk was kind of asleep in his bed. It's the middle of, we'll say night, right? But it's the middle of the night, and Nisk, you hear the door open, and maybe at first you can't really see. Your eyes are adjusting, and as the door closes, you see Garo standing there with a vibro axe, and like 300 or like those Frank Miller style where you just see like the eyes and you just see his eyes and
back.
And so maybe like on the wall like a light flashes and like maybe it turns Garo red, like it's a red hue. And at this point Garo flashes back to maybe a year and a half ago, and it's the middle of the night. And he's in his home, and he's in his bed, and he hears a noise in the other room, and he gets up, and he kind of sneaks around because he's not sure what it is. Maybe it's his brother that's awake, or his dad, getting a late night snack, and he goes in the other room, and he hears it from his parents' room, and it's really strange. It's a strange noise, and maybe he's tired. He can't really put two and two together. But he kind of cracks open the door, I know it's different in Star Wars world, but he somehow gets the door open a little bit. And
maybe with his new axe?
No. This is in the past. This is a flashback memory. Oh, so he sees in his parents' room, both his parents kind of sitting at the edge of the bed with their hands tied. And he sees this Bothan above them with a gun pointed to their head. And before the gunfire, he hears the Bothan in a weird accent say the words "elusive pilot," and then kill both of his parents. And then his brother runs into the room from the other door, and the Bothan turns and kills him, and shoots him as well. And then the Bothan, like, as he sees Garo coming into the room, Garo's kind of like scared and isn't like really entering, but the Bothan looks him right in the eyes and then like hops out maybe a hole that he cut into the side of the building.
Oh,
and then
that's why you were so mad when I cut that hole in the wall, because it reminded you of your past childhood trauma. It wasn't the fact that you were getting eaten alive by a Nexu. It's just you don't like holes.
And so now we cut back to Garo, and he's holding this axe in his hand. The red light is just bathing him. He's got this weird look in his eyes, and back from our last episode where he said we need to talk, and he starts to pace a little bit, and he's paying attention to you, but not really. Like you could tell he's like distraught.
He's in his own head.
He goes elusive pilot. He goes, you said elusive pilot. I've only heard that once before. And he just starts pacing back and forth in your room, and he's got the vibro, and you can see that he is completely unhinged. Like, I don't know if you remember, but in the last episode, when you were talking to Barrow, you had said you needed an elusive pilot and you were going to train him up. And so he just keeps going. No, I've never heard that phrase before. It's got to be you. And he's just like pacing back and forth in the room. Like you could see he's definitely. I think because the last few how long has it been since this started, Brennan? Like a few days, a week, 2 weeks, like 4
You
weeks.
guys have been working together for about a month now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys had a couple days out on your journey, getting back and then waiting. It was about 3 to 4 weeks before you got your ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
while we were just hanging out in town, we may not even seen each other every day. Who knows?
Right, but we
had your
definitely
own place. Yeah.
Right, but we definitely built a rapport and stuff. And so I think Garo's like struggling and like he just keeps. So I'll let you go in a second, but like he's just pacing and just like. Elusive pilot. He said elusive pilot. Like it's him. It's got to be him. And he's just,
I don't feel that fire and say you guys have had some moments where you guys were really working together and you were clicking, right? And the direction of you and Nisk were working great, and then Zoltan's over here and it's like, not so great. I don't know what's going on about this. Right. And you're like, but this bond is good. And then now you're here.
And I would say that the whole cutting definitely freaked out Garo when Zoltan did that and not helping him. And then for you to use that phraseology, I think, just a little meta, outside. But he definitely has been biding his time, and this is the first time.
Phraseology? Is that? I don't even think that's a skill in this game. Maybe it should be.
But
custom skill.
But I think he's been biding his time for this moment because we all haven't been really alone, and it's been kind of, the weeks we've been waiting for the ship. So he's definitely, you could see the struggle in him right now.
What's going on, friend? This is unusual. My hand is definitely maybe fondling through my bag, looking for my blaster just in case. My eyes aren't leaving him.
Yeah, can I roll a perception and see if he's doing that?
Yeah, and you guys, you can just roll blank and roll against.
I got kicked out, everybody.
While he's gone.
I got booted. Wait. So
guys, I don't think that Jay is a scumbag. I don't know why you keep saying that.
Go back to what you were saying about rolling blank really quick. Sorry.
Okay, so I just cleared everything out, so you shouldn't have any anything there. And let's go ahead and everybody roll Destiny just real quick.
Sure.
And I am GM forcing. We have obviously triggered Jay's obligation.
Fair enough. Yes. Come on. The exact opposite of last show.
Excellent.
I just want to say, I'm like 2 sessions in a row without needing help on how to roll Destiny.
I'm so proud of you, buddy.
I get another gold star.
I think it was a milestone in character development, maybe human development.
Do you want me, Brendan? Do you want me to roll cool or stealth? Probably cool.
Whatever your preference. Whatever you think.
I know what my preference is, but I think the cool skill works better, even though it's worse dice for me.
Hot. Holy hotness!
So that blue one shouldn't have been in there, but it didn't do anything anyway. So
yeah, you're fine.
No.
So you have a total of 2 success, and I have 3.
It's 2, but you do get those 3 advantage to use your preference there.
So I'm using it for perception. So maybe I see you go through your bag, and I want to take the vibros like this counter that's to the right of me, and I slam it, and I go. Sorry, everybody, but I like point at you. I go, "Don't you fucking touch a gun."
With my advantage, I'll pull the blaster out of my bag, but I'll pull it out by the barrel, and I'll just kind of toss it towards the wall somewhere over here-ish, with my advantage.
And maybe
I'll get it out of my bag in a non-threatening way and just kind of discard it.
I want to do. This seems like a big. I don't want to go that far, but you get the idea. Sure, I'm just kind of like a small step, like towards you. Like maybe I drag. Like I'm clearly like a maniac right now, and I'm like I drag the axe across the thing, like towards me, and let it like hit the floor, and I'm just like.
How tall is Garo? Are you pretty tall for a human?
Yeah, I would say I'm like, well, I mean, I'm 6 foot. I
I just
think.
want to say this is why Jay invited us on his show so he can
absolutely.
kill us all for a captive audience.
Yeah, 6. He's 6 foot.
So Bothans are fairly kind of, they're not the tallest creatures, and so like I'll probably like stand up like on the cot or bed or bunk or whatever it is, and we're probably like eye to eye now.
Yeah.
Be like, is this your plan? To just find some suckers, help you get the ship to get off here?
And he's like, he like, maybe his eyes blink a little bit because that does not compute with him at this moment. He's like, you called me an elusive pilot. Why did you say that?
You said you wanted to get off the rock. I'm a smuggler. You're going to learn to become a smuggler.
But why did you say elusive pilot? What made you think of those words? And then he's like gripping like maybe his knuckles are starting to turn white.
I don't really want to, in someone else's ship with a bunch of battle droids, tell them that I'm a smuggler. We play coy. It's wordplay.
So Brendan, would he have? I'm trying to think like how. So. So I think let me ask you this: would the maybe this is a question for Ryan? Would the Bothans have like I would assume it's similar to Earth, where regionally they would have the same accent, like depending on what part you're from.
Sure.
So I want to say like I feel like what's triggering him is the accent and that wording, and so I'm trying to figure out how Garo can figure out why you like if that's. You know what I mean? Like he's struggling.
You're playing your character.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't think any dice need to get thrown here.
No.
Yeah.
So I hear a little bit of this, and so my character's starting to wake up.
Do you?
Oh yeah. I've already confirmed it.
Yeah, you're not really being subtle. Yeah. So he's just starting to wake up.
So okay, so I think Garo's definitely struggling here. And he's like, because I think he's coming to his senses, but he's like, none of this is making sense to him. Like, and so maybe he's saying this out loud. Maybe he's like, why would you come back? Why would you come back after doing that? And he's like, maybe he turns
Those
his
are
back.
The first words you hear, Zoltan, by the way.
Why would you come back?
Yeah.
Come back. I've never been to Fantooine.
Why would you kill them and then come back? And he's maybe he like walks away and he's like, he's not really focused on you anymore. Yeah. He's like completely confused now. He's like, why would you guys come back here? Why would you kill them and come back?
I'm just going to stand kind of in the doorway, kind of listening some more just to make sure that everything's okay, but I'm not going to intervene or anything.
Calm down, friend. What are you talking about?
So maybe you know what? I think he probably drops the vibro axe.
That's the sound it makes.
Brendan, yeah.
I was wondering who's going to be the first person to say.
Lose it. Brendan is fucking dogs.
I want to say the dogs have been really good for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, they have been, Brendan. Nice job.
Yep.
I think I just
I got my coworker helping me in the back there wrangling the dogs, keeping them quiet.
So I think at this point he's gonna kind of drop the axe, and he's just gonna be like, "This doesn't make any sense." And then maybe he just like sits down and leans up against your bed, like you can just see he's like something like way off.
Yeah, I would definitely put an arm in between us. But then, like, if you're sitting on the floor using the bunk as a support, probably about 4 feet away, I would do the same thing.
All right,
just to sit down. Like, what's going on? Spill your beans, friend.
What were you gonna say, Tim?
I was gonna ask if maybe like and this is more of a Brendan question, but
sure.
For what Garo is going through right now, would a force heal do any good in this case? Or at least does my character think that that using the force to heal him would maybe calm him down a little bit, or would that have any kind of physiological, since he's not physically wounded at this point?
Yeah, no, but you don't even need to roll the force to know that the dark side is very strong here right now. It's almost as if it's circling and hovering around Jay and around Garo, and you know from hanging around him enough that this is not normal. This is something that maybe like um, the dark side is feeding on this right now. Like it's not normally this is not normal, and the force is imbalanced as a result.
I'd venture to say that this is probably what woke me up, and rather than feel like, because there's definitely been some animosity between Garo and myself, and in a way to try to balance that, I'm not even feeling argumentative at all. Like my instinct right now leads more to be more of a peacemaker in this situation, but I feel like it's better for me to just stay out of it because I would probably be a disruptive presence right now.
Okay, so you sat so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get inside your head. Like, what's
So
going on?
I think
Something's
maybe
on your mind.
he's hearing you, but not hearing you. Like he almost, it's like in his like you talking is him in his head
Yeah.
talking to himself. And so
you muttered that you lost people, right?
no, I don't think I've ever. So I don't
Okay.
think that was like a flashback he was having in his own head.
Right. No, I thought why you were saying that. Why would you kill them and come back?
Oh yeah, yes, you heard
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of as I'm trying to figure out like what's in your head or something, maybe I reach, I go maybe sit back up on my bed, start rifling through my bag, and I rifle deep in my bag.
Yeah.
And I kind of join you back on the floor, and I just kind of toss at your feet a little small square of fabric, and it's clearly ripped off of some kind of piece of clothing, and it's just the orange rebel phoenix. Like, I've lost people too, kid. It's okay to talk.
So seeing this, I think it would be like sporadically, and maybe he's more talking to himself, but he kind of relays that story that you heard in the flashback. And he's and just like, you know, and you get the gist that basically like a Bothan cut through the wall of his parents' room, killed them, and the last words he heard him say was a like elusive pilot, and it just like the two and two didn't make any sense. And you know, and so like, and then maybe Garo just like kind of gets up and he's like, I'm sorry, and he just like leaves his vibro axe there and just kind of like walks. He's like, maybe he huddles up behind this box or something over in the corner. You know, like he's still a kid, right? So like, like as a young kid, he's just kind of like, you remember like being 18, like 16, 17, 18, like you just lose your temper out of left field. And so that's kind of what happened
there. I don't know anything about that
and so like, so he just kind of left his vibro axe, like, and I think that may have been kind of telling to you because he was like obsessed with this since you helped him buy it. And he's like been touting it around like it's big shit. And yeah, he just leaves it in your room and then like goes and hides out in the ship somewhere.
So while you, I see you walk out, and I went into the galley really quick while you guys were doing all your stuff. Because it's still early in the morning, in the middle of the night, or
made myself a feast.
I started brewing some coffee or calf, in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. So I basically I'm gonna bring out a cup of calf to you, Garo, and I'm just gonna give you a cup, and I'm like, you know, we all got our demons, kid, and if you ever need to talk, or not, we're here for you. And I'm gonna give you the cup.
Texas now.
And I'm just gonna nothing else required. I'm just gonna hand it to you because sometimes silence is all you need.
So I think he wouldn't move, so you'd probably have to put it like set it next to him.
I'm gonna kind of just set it on at the table right next to you, and then just walk away. Yeah. And then I'm also gonna bring a cup to Nisk.
You extend your arm. There's like this awkward moment where he doesn't take it, and you just kind of like set it down and walk backwards.
And you can just, so I guess Zoltan, like he's just got like a million mile stare. Like it's just like he is.
Yeah. My whole demeanor in this is like, I don't want to disturb you. I just want to let you know that we're here for you, and I can tell something's wrong. And when you're ready, you know, we'll work through it. But it's nice to know that I'm not the only one with demons.
All right. So I think I'm good, Brandon.
Yeah. Cool. The rest of the night doesn't go off without a hitch unless we have. No, I got nothing else. So the rest of the night goes on without any sort of hiccups or anything. Sun rises.
So,
it's maybe
Ryan,
a little late in the morning by the time you guys all get up.
Yeah. So Ryan,
who was the jerk that brought us coffee in the middle of the night?
After that cliffhanger from last episode, what did you think? What did you think was happening versus what happened?
Oh, I thought you would finally found some better podcasts to bring on the show. And you're just like, get
Outriders.
Here.
I got Outriders. They're the big bill.
I'd love to have those guys.
That would be fun. Yeah, no, that's a cool hook that you pretend to be some little dumb hillbilly.
Yeah.
Get some Outworlders to help get you a ship, and then take the ship for yourself. Absolutely.
Seems good.
So I just finished the campaign for Doom Eternal, and there's a guy in there, a marauder that carries an axe with him, and he's really nasty, and he's one of the hardest bad guys. So I was literally getting flashbacks from that.
So probably when the morning comes, and everything kind of starts to stir, I would go find Garo, and if he's still passed out, because after you have those emotional charges, you want to sleep afterwards. I'd probably take the pommel of the axe whenever it's time to go do whatever it is that we need to do, go meet Barrow or whoever for our first job, and I ding it on the floor kind of loud near him, and then I hold it out to him like, kid, you dropped this.
Ryan, I actually want to interrupt you for half a second there. So you run a lot of games, and Tim, I think you do a little bit too. I think here, obviously, we'll be giving out XP awards at the end of the session, and I think Jay actually is going to get one, obviously, for executing here. Ryan is going to get one as well, and Tim actually, I think for how Tim played his character even in that scene. Honestly, it sounds lame, but honestly, I think you guys all did a really good job with your characters there. So I think everybody's going to get an XP reward. But the other thing that I wanted to focus on is that obligation is not a static number. And so, breaking the fourth wall here a little bit, Garo's obligation is actually his obsession. And so I think right now we've kind of worked through that. So Ryan, I'm going to ask you on the cuff. We haven't talked about this before this recording. What sort of a reduction in obligation do you think warrants what we've just walked through here at this point?
If his is his obsession, obviously this is too good to wipe it all out, because I want to see where it goes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it needs to stick around.
And if we started with 15, right? And then we could tack
He's a
more
little
on.
higher than that.
Sure, no, but we had the option to tack on. I would say for a one good scene that this is kind of built up to, I could see 2 or 3 obligation coming off of it.
2 or 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little nicer and go to 5.
Okay.
Just because I'm
super
feeling
stingy in
generous.
my games.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And so it's a little bit. I always do it a little bit based on the game, right, and based on the scene. Sure. And I think based on the game that we're running, we can do 5, and it'll be just
that's
fine.
Fair.
And besides, I just gave you guys another 13 as a party, so
that's
true. I can justify that a little bit in my head. As he's kind of working through this problem and now having to work maybe less on himself and more on the group. Though his number is still far higher than the group.
So, and Ryan, I would say just a little bit of story, Brendan, if you don't mind. Go
for it.
When we were walking around and you were trying to figure out stuff about the Tracefs and stuff, I would say that you may have stumbled on a piece of information that maybe you just tossed away as nothing. But remember the Bothan that was in the spaceport when we first started? You heard that I maybe had a weird fascination with her, but everybody was kind of playing it off as I was just sexually interested in her, but I seemed very obsessed with her. That
was a female? I can't tell the difference between female and male Bothans. Apparently,
that was a Bothan.
And so maybe all this, and after you give me,
can you let me know when we break atmosphere so I can throw Zoltan out the
airlock? But yeah, I think maybe you put that together, and then
that starts to make sense. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was real focused on her initially. So.
Yeah.
Even in that first scene, like
I
this
took it
this
as
has
an
been under the
outlet just to
surface.
stop talking to me and Zoltan.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's
Who
it's
wouldn't
been
want
under
to
the
stop
surface
talking to
since
us?
episode 1. So,
New cast next week.
So,
Yeah.
so we're waking up,
Yeah.
and you know, of course, it's later, and we've all had some calf in the middle of the night, or maybe or didn't. I mean, I definitely had
Right.
some. So
I
it's
did not.
kind of like probably like noon or something like that by the time we were all like awake, or at least where I'm awake. I remember that we had a job to do like basically a passage. Basically, somebody wanted kind of a simple fare. Somebody wanted to ride somewhere. This ship is operational, but I don't know if we've taken it for a spin yet. And so I think I'm gonna go and talk to the captain and kind of like knock on the door and be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Morning, Zoltan. Yes, appreciate the calf last night.
Yeah.
Sorry to wake you.
No, it's all right. It's it sounded like something was going on. I didn't want to intrude, but I wanted to let you know that I was here for you in case anything happened.
I appreciate that.
Are we good? Are we okay? We ready to fly?
Well, I have my demons, you have yours, and I think we're just starting to figure out the kids. I think we'll be okay.
So my question for you is, we've got somebody that we've got to meet and pick up and figure out about kind of how we want to approach this first trial run of this new ship. Do we want to take this ship for a test drive first? I know fuel isn't cheap, but do you want to try and work out the kinks of this engine before we have passengers on board, or do we want to just go for it and kind of conserve fuel?
I think if we keep Garo waiting in his passage any longer than they have to, that would not be very good for us.
So as you guys are talking, just real quick, Garo like pops up behind you. He's got his vibro axe, and he's like, "Hey, you guys ready to make some money today?" As if nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Yep.
There's a big part of me that so in real life, when somebody comes up behind me, I freak out. Like last night, literally, my wife was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh God, you're gonna give me a heart attack." So like, there's a big part of me that wants to do that, but I feel like
I hope you animate that. By the way.
Yeah, I will.
Just not even related to the characters.
No, it's just Krabek and his wife. Yep.
Tim's wife.
It's a crab, and then it's a crab with like a wig on.
Pretty weird.
And then he jumps, and like little poops come out.
Yeah, almost. It took me a good 5 minutes before I could even hear what she had to say, because I'm like, I am going to die, and you're gonna have to raise these 3 children on your own. You approach me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Garo wasn't being sneaky at all. Yeah. He was just like,
I feel like I would have heard you coming, so it wouldn't have been that much. But like,
Nisko kind of he'll look through Zoltan for a minute and give Garo that stare, like, I know what this is, and I kind of know what this feels like, and be like, yeah, we're good to make money today.
Okay, and he seems back to like normal. He's like, great, let's go connect with Barrow and get a job.
All right. Well, before we do that, I know a little bit about mechanics, so I'm gonna head to the console and try and do like a kind of like a diagnostic and see what I can.
Over.
Yeah, kind of see what I can muster for the ship. Does everything look tip top? Does it look like they've done a good job with reassembling this ship?
Yeah. So you don't even need to roll it. It's very basic. It's almost as if they've kind of presented it in a means that you could pull this up quickly if you were looking for it. And it's basically a full schematic rundown. It would even appear that they actually did an operations check on this prior to delivering it to you to ensure that it was at full capacity. And they give you a little readout, just like when you get back from the oil change, and they do like all of the different, here your brakes are working, the fluid's good, your tire wear is right. Like everything on this ship is nominal or better. It doesn't mean that it's a great ship, right? You still have a Ford Fiesta, but it's functional. It's a good Ford Fiesta.
Yeah,
it's more than a fiesta. It's the squandered potential.
It is the squandered potential.
So
it's
while
yours, and
he's
that's what's
doing
most
that,
important.
I think Garo's just kind of leaning up against the wall, waiting, and maybe Nisk, he kind of gives you a nod, like, like,
Yeah.
Was that kung fu?
Yeah.
Does Jay know kung fu?
Yeah.
Of course he does.
So you've got a blinking light on your comms terminal that is waiting answer.
I'm the only one at a terminal, so I guess that's for me.
Well,
I'm gonna answer it. I'm like,
I don't know if it's for you, but
It's about to be.
It's at my station. I'm like, squandered potential 3, or I'm sorry, unknown station. This is squandered potential 3. Go ahead with transmission. Over.
Hello, Squandered Potential 3. This is Garo, and I just wanted to let you know that your client is waiting for you in the cantina.
Barrow, this is Squandered Potential 3. Request pickup by flyby if client is on board. Otherwise, we'll meet him at the docking station.
He's at the cantina. He'll be waiting for you there.
All right, we're gonna do a flyby. Over. So I'm excited now. My character's gonna run to you guys. I'm like, all right, guys, we are gonna do the coolest thing. Barrow wants us to hover over the cantina, open up one of the launch bay doors, right? Drop a ladder out and have the client climb up the ladder while we're in flight. This is gonna be the most epic thing ever.
I'd like to roll knowledge. I think we added a local knowledge for me, Brendan. I'd like to see how that would go.
Yeah. Let me make sure I got a dice pool for you first.
Sorry. Wow.
I'll just roll mine.
You guys need to make this happen because it's just going to be so amazing if it does. If not, then I'm going to be sad.
So
you succeed.
Okay, so would I know that would be a no bueno, right?
That's a negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
You may or may not get shot out of the sky for doing that.
Yeah, so I kind of I'm like, that's a negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. I'll explain to him. I'll be like, listen, I know you're excited. I get it. Here's the thing, though. They do not mess around with this stuff here. We will be shot out of the sky.
So I'm going to explain to you the conversation at this point.
I just start walking towards the cantina.
Well, so we're in the launch bay right now. Oh, so he wants us to walk and escort him to the ship. And I'm going to be like, since you rolled advantage too, I'm like, I'm not even going to have any conflict with you on this. I'm like, oh, you know what? That makes perfect sense. I thought he wanted... I got you.
And then he just starts following Nisk.
Yeah, so I'm gonna walk with you guys.
You're gonna try to walk with us. Garo is walking very briskly to catch up with Nisk.
Tim the person is disappointed we don't get to do this awesome flyby.
Yeah.
My character is like, oh, thanks for explaining it. You did a very good job.
Right.
Because all right. I just want you guys to know that out of character, that would have been epic, flying over, come on, jump on board.
We get it.
I'm way more excited about that than you guys are.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think so. I think we're all in agreement there.
Because I would have died. We all would have died.
The opportunity for somebody to roll a despair while trying to make that maneuver would have been
a total party kill because you wanted to fly by the cantinas. Not
and on the final episode of Recover the Supplies.
On Tim's final episode. All right, Brendan, we are good to go, my friend.
Okay. So you guys head over to the cantina.
Yes. Because that's where you told us to go.
Yep, and so I'm just working on getting things in place.
All right.
We can't get the door to open. It's like, this is not a brand new ship. We can tell this ship has seen better days because the door won't open.
It's a bit of a walk.
Yeah. So did you guys catch the Fantooine Slicers game last night?
Slicers. I love how
Nisk caught a different slicer meeting.
Yeah. So did Nisk's desk in his room there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right, you guys. We're gonna do this job. We're gonna earn our keep, and pretty soon we're gonna be out of debt. And I'm gonna summon the light side while we're waiting for the door to open. And once we're out of debt, there are brighter horizons ahead of all three of us.
I highly doubt, friend, that we will be out of debt of this Barrow character anytime soon.
Okay. I think I got
I'm gonna
everything
like
now.
begrudgingly
Did you
nod in agreement with you.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Oh, we're walking in the cantina.
Yep. So you guys make it back to the cantina, and of course the cantina has been filled up with the usual afternoon crowd again.
Oops, somebody's cell
Yeah.
phone. Hello?
That's actually part of the game sound effect.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Actually, don't know, Jade. I assume you have general input, so I assume our audience can hear the background sound.
Yes,
there,
they
but-
can. Yep.
Cool, perfect. So you guys come in, and it's the usual midday crowd, kind of more like what you saw the first day you were here. That poor, unfortunate Bothan is there again, and in fact, the minute that he sees you guys, he like finishes, clears his tab, and starts walking to the door to leave.
Is this the same guy that was here last time?
Yeah, that's the same Bothan.
I thought you said it was a female.
There's a remarkable amount of Bothans on this little tiny crappy planet.
Yeah, for somebody who's never seen Bothans, this is the most Bothans you've ever seen.
As he's walking out, I'm gonna make a little casual remark, just barely loud enough for him to hear. I'm like, I've never seen a Bothan before.
Yeah, Garo probably doesn't even pay attention to him this time.
Yeah.
So, out of the faces and the most unique, you see an individual in the back corner there. He's a little bit older. He is actually wearing what appears to be like this is completely out of place, right?
Right.
But he is wearing a full suit of battle armor that looks far advanced, more than anything anybody on this planet you've seen is wearing, and it's only barely covered by a robe with like a hood, kind of like a traveler's cloak, like a heavy, desert or winter kind of cloak. But he's got that kind of off because it's obviously too hot for something like that to be sitting around in.
Right.
And then sitting on the table in front of him is a blaster rifle that looks fairly well customized. There's a sling attached to it, very tactical. This guy's face is covered in several different minor scars. He's probably in his 40s or so. His armor is polished and neat, but it looks like it's been repaired a few times. Like, so it's one of those that not even a new paint job can fix some of this,
And is this the only person we haven't seen here before?
It's the only guy you don't recognize. You actually notice all three Trace Fs are sitting here.
So it would be safe to assume that this is our contact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask Zoltan. Did Barrow give you a description of who we're supposed to be meeting today?
As a matter of fact, I was so excited to come to you guys with the new game plan. I'm gonna just admit, friend, I didn't even think to ask. Here's a question. As a matter of fact, we didn't roll Destiny yet this session because this might be a point for a Destiny.
Yeah, we did.
We'd roll Destiny?
Yeah, we got.
Oh, that's right. They were all dark sides. We don't have any Destiny to spend.
Yeah, we don't have any news.
Okay,
It's great. It's the best.
But we have comm links though, right? We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
internal comm links. Is it fair to say that we know how to contact Barrow on these comm links?
You could reach Barrow from the ship, but not from your comlinks.
Oh, okay.
Unless you have like long range.
As Zoltan is like trying to figure this out, I've done a few spacer jobs. And this could be like, it's probably that guy over there. And I just kind of start walking. It's the one person we haven't seen before. Yeah.
I just follow him.
And I'll approach the table if nothing stops me, and kind of look him up and down and be like, "So what hot zone are we dropping you off in?"
It says Toad?
That's us. Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, have a seat.
Oh, we're having
Pull up a
drinks.
chair.
Oh, right.
All right.
Says, thank you for joining me. My name's Eric, and I just got a quick mission that I need to go meet some people and then come back here. So if you can just give me some simple transport, this will be a painless job for any of you.
What kind
Of
of
course.
people?
I give this look to Zoltan, like, are you kidding me? Like,
But I'm keeping my
Zoltan.
eyes focused on the passenger. But
We don't
sure,
ask those
smile.
questions.
The gentleman, he kind of gives you a look that it's almost a little bit compassionate. Like, he's not here to start a fight with you or anybody else. He says,
Right.
he's just like, I've got some business to attend to. I don't remember negotiating discussion of those details in my contract with your employer.
Sure.
But I do appreciate your services and look
Where are we
forward to
dropping
traveling
you?
with you.
I'm just gonna follow up with, I'm just concerned about the welfare of my crewmates. If any mission that would put us in danger is certainly of something I need to be concerned with, and I'm sure you understand.
Oh yeah, that's fine. He says our destination is Naval Station Valadusia.
Do I know anything about this?
Yeah, go ahead and roll anything you have related to rebellion or warfare or Outer Rim or
Well, all of my knowledge skills are the same.
Oh,
whatever you want to roll. Go for it.
I'm
and let me
of
make
the
sure I
same
have
mind.
dice for you.
Yep.
Do I have dice for you? Did that work?
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it?
two's good.
Is it in the outer rim?
Yes. So you got exactly nothing. Or wait, no, you got your Outer Rim. There we go.
Oh, I'm a little bit familiar with this Valadusia. Maybe my master talked about it.
Yep. So I'll go ahead and show this to players, and the photo credit here is to Ansel Hisayo that I found.
Oh,
so,
it's beautiful.
Naval Station Valadusia is a fallen holdout from the Empire. It is a prime picking spot for the New Republic's claim and ownership policy. Scavengers from all over the sector have already picked through and claimed most of the facility's assets. Gambling and fights break out hourly over salvage claims with high stakes. It's even said that one Ugnaught recently got their hands on an Imperial Star Destroyer.
Oh my goodness.
The threat here is appropriate. Is it New Republic controlled, or is it just kind of in disarray at this point?
It's anarchy.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Nisk much prefers that.
All right. Well, now I'm suddenly looking at my character sheet, wondering what kind of gunnery skills I have for if we get into a space fight.
So, well, we will have you there and back in a jiff, or whatever a space jiff is. How long do you need to stay on station?
How long's a fucking space jiff? that's the real question we need to ask.
3.7 parsecs.
He says, honestly, my business shouldn't be more than 2 days or so, and I should be back to you in relatively short order. And then at that time we'll just come back here. And
sure. Any cargo being picked up or dropped off?
I may have some cargo on the return.
I see. I'd imagine. Otherwise, it could be something that's done over hollow. But we are at your leisure whenever you're ready to leave.
Okay.
And I kind of look around the room. I'm like, well, sooner is better than later. Kind of giving it this disappointed
even looking around the room, you know you've been watched this whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, these guys, you know what? Their prying eyes, I'm not going to say this out loud, but the prying eyes of this swoop gang are starting to get on my nerves. I'm just saying. You know?
Good.
So.
Okay. So Garo, he was very quiet during that whole thing. He didn't say a word. It was just like, okay, and then he got up and he's just kind of taking Nisk's lead.
So, and I would probably know this before we came to this meeting. Why are y'all's names the same? Barrow. Has Barrow taken care? Is he basically going to take payment? Barrow's going to be the middleman. I don't have to get anything from this guy, and he doesn't have to give me anything.
Yeah, that was on page 735, actually.
Got it.
Paragraph 4, line 3. And yeah, so essentially he's handled that for you, and then credits will be transferred to you on completion.
As long as I don't have to get anything from this guy because he looks spooky.
So I ran a diagnostic on the ship earlier. What is our fuel setting at? Are we topped off?
Yeah, he left you with a full tank.
Oh, good.
Good. And
we charged us for it, but yeah.
Yeah.
This dude, man.
And it's rental car prices too.
Oh, you can believe those coffee beans, the calf beans that were in the thing, they were complimentary. Like,
yeah. That was something I messaged Brendan about. I'm like, hey, can I make some coffee?
Yeah.
Right this way. This guy doesn't have a bag or anything, right?
He does actually. He reaches under his chair and grabs a backpack. And I mean, it's just like yours. It's a traveler's backpack. It's a go bag of he's ready to move and ready to go.
So please, my associate will get that for you, and I like point to Zoltan.
Oh, I've already started walking away. I'm like, what's that?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Say it.
Yeah.
Garo will hold out his hand
like,
if he wants him to take it.
I'm like, Niski, it says, I think that's on you, buddy, if you want to offer that stuff. But so I'm going to keep walking this way. But the idea of my stride here, I'm trying to strut a little bit, kind of showcasing my cutlass past all these prying eyes, just so they know that I'm kind of walking like a badass.
So as you do that, our good friend that you're familiar with, Von Taurus, actually stands up and takes a half a step towards you. And a second before that, Garo had offered to take Eric's bag.
Yeah.
And Eric gives you like a grateful sort of nod, but gives no indication that he's willing to part with that bag.
Okay.
And actually then a half second later, his attention snaps down towards the Traceps, seeing that Von Taurus is kind of stepping up to Zoltan there. Okay. And he starts making a move towards Von Taurus.
Okay, so
Garo's gonna kind of like, he sees this and he's like, I gotta stop this again, like, and he's heading towards it.
So as he steps up to me, I'm just going to like smile and I'm gonna be like, good day, so I'm not gonna be antagonistic, but I'm showing that I'm not afraid.
Von Taurus gives Zoltan a sneer, like in any day, any time, you and me. Without saying it, he communicates that, and you're in no doubt of the message that he's communicating to you.
My character is a little bit afraid, but I'm not willing to show that because I've got the pride, right? That's one of my unfortunate things. So I'm gonna keep walking, and I'm gonna wait until I'm like a step or two away before I take my eyes off.
So I think Garo maybe taps. What was the guy's name? Eric. He goes, sir.
Eric, but I'm sure it's spelled some
right. He goes,
of course it is.
He goes, excuse me, sir. Listen, we really don't want to get mixed up with these guys. Let's just get you to where we need to go, and let's get out of here.
So Von Taurus is given the glare to Zoltan, and then out of the corner of his eye, he turns and looks and sees that Eric has kind of stepped up.
Yep.
And Von Taurus grabs his drink and sits back down.
Oh, interesting development. Now, do I notice that he steps back down? Because I still kind of have my eyes on him, right? Do I see him?
Yep.
Oh, that tells me something. But I'm going to keep walking, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm still like confident.
And I think Garo would be like, what?
So this dude,
Nisk,
this
you
dude
just hear an
some
audible sigh come out of Nisk, like, whew.
I'm not showing it, but I'm also very, very relieved right now. I'm not showing. I'm trying not to show it at least.
Yeah. So he basically walks with you guys and is now escorting you. Out of the cantina.
I'm kind of glad we didn't do the flyby at this point. I think that was a good call by Garo. So although it would have.
You think? Jeez.
Dude, it might have made for one of those awesome animation little sequences, like if we crashed.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so he's walking us out, Brendan.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So
he's right with you.
We're gonna go wherever to the ship or whatever.
As we're walking out, the last table along the way, I'm gonna attempt to do this really awesome, like a radical flip right over this table to try to impress our client, right? Because obviously he's well known. Like I feel like maybe he just saved me from a butt whooping, right? So like I'm appreciative of
thanks
that.
of my people, a backflip.
But at the same time, like I want to like do like a one-handed like 360 flip in the air over this table just to kind of like be like, hey, you didn't have to do that. Like it's my pride. I want to show off a little bit.
Roll it.
All right. Athletics?
Yep.
All right.
Please fail. Please fail. Please
Yeah.
fail.
You spend a dark side point.
A dark side point, really?
I would. I'm that guy.
Well, yeah, it'll go into conflict because there was certainly, and that was part of it, because that's one of my one of those negative character traits. Is pride.
Yeah.
But I did have an advantage there, so obviously I failed to do the flip, so I probably fall. But I'd like to spend the advantage that maybe he's just like the client who watches, like he's not insulted by it. Maybe he's amused. Maybe he's amused.
Nisk is insulted by it.
I certainly don't hurt.
A little bit of a smart crack on the corner of his lips.
I'm like, wow.
He's not always like this. He's always like this.
Yeah. When you say that, Carol's like,
Yeah, he is.
I'm like, hey guys, at least I didn't hurt myself. Like, at least I didn't hurt myself.
we're like way ahead of you now because you.
Yeah.
You're like just talking to yourself.
At least I didn't hurt my guys. Guys, I didn't hurt. Did you see? All right, no, nobody saw. All right, nobody saw.
So as we're kind of walking back to the ship, I look at this Eric character. I'm like, so how many questions are we supposed to ask? How many? Like, is this a you want us to be remotely silent, or what am I flying into? Like, what does the client want? Are we going to need for anything other than transport?
I'm I'm here to do my thing, but I don't mind the company. I tend to enjoy traveling with people. So if you have a tale to tell, I don't mind hearing it.
Side question: do boffins have tails?
I don't believe so. Someone in the YouTube comments will tell me I'm wrong,
but
I don't think so.
Because if they did, my character would totally say something that's like, "Oh, he has a tail," or like a bad joke. But since we don't know, I'm not going to say that right now.
Well, in either case, thank you.
Perfect.
But the thought was there. If it's the thought that counts, right?
It is. Thanks, man. You did
Before you guys get right to the door, he reaches into the top of his bag
savage.
and pulls out a helmet, which he puts on his head, and you can hear a visible click and whooshing sound as it actually pressurizes. Before you guys go outside.
Oh, you got a spacesuit too? I've got one.
So obviously this guy is a well-trained fighter. Is there anything about him, and now that we get to see him kind of in all his regalia, that indicates a couple years prior if he was involved in a particular civil conflict, and if so, what side he was on?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll perception, and I've got diff ready for you.
Cool.
Perception or knowledge?
Either way.
I think knowledge makes more sense. So I'm going to go core worlds knowledge.
You know me. I'm easy. If you can give me a good reason to roll it, I'll let you roll it.
I'm not going to roll at all because Garo doesn't care.
All right, I've clicked the button and it is lagging, so I'll get a couple results probably here in about a second. So we'll just have to be our charming, entertaining selves until that happens.
It's
like that. There we go.
It must be the lockdown and the quarantine getting everybody to slow down all the systems.
I think we all passed on a knowledge check or perception.
Yeah, one success, one advantage.
Oh yeah. It is faded. It is not worn or scratched off. But there is absolutely a rebel or a rebellion logo that is etched in a couple of different places. And there is enough. Nisk would note there's enough flourish to the design to know that he earned some sort of valor in that conflict.
Some sort of accolades.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. And it's very subtle, and it's tucked, woven under the small of a plate so that it wouldn't be seen under normal travel. But that it could be shown,
So he's not actively advertising it.
He's not actively advertising it, but in the right circumstances, you would see it and notice it, and you, being a former member of the rebellion, would know where to look. So,
I want to pause just for a second and say, like, it's time for me to stop being the chaotic one. I think we need to change it up a little bit. Like, Ryan, I think it's time for you to start going crazy, and she'd be like, "Wait a second!" You should like shout, and this is out of character, but like you should just shout like, "Rebel! You were a rebel!" Like.
You know what I think we should try? Maybe none of us are chaotic. Maybe we just
maybe that would work for the story too.
Okay. I mean that would be a change up also.
I'm just
play the character you're old. Okay? Play the character you're old. So kind of as we meander through town, is anything going to happen to us before we board the ship? Because I do want to do something as we're kind of walking up the docking ramp. I'd kind of slow my walk and go kind of as we're walking breast to breast with them, and they'll be like, I flew GRs out of Hoth, and kind of take a step up the ramp.
His eyebrows raise a little bit, and he gives a praising nod in response.
Yeah.
He says, I've seen more than a few battlefields, but boots on the ground, obviously.
I see. Where did you serve? Any campaigns?
Too many.
I agree with that.
Who else got successes? Garo did not roll.
Nope.
But Zoltan did. Zoltan, you notice his blaster rifle, as tricked out and awesome as it is set to stun.
Okay.
And so is his pistol that's on his hip.
I'm going to keep that to myself. But one thing is, while we're walking to the ship, I know there was that medical bag. The one I'm talking about from like, I think maybe episode 1 or 2. I'm going to kind of nudge Nisk. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to nudge Garo because I have a couple of times been wanting to get in there to get some medical supplies. And since we've been here for like about a month, Garo has still not gotten us in there. So I know we have a job to do. So I'm just kind of come out. I'm like, we've gotten a little more friendly over time. I'm going to kind of nudge him and I'm like, hey, man, I still haven't forgotten about your overdue promise to get us in there. One of these days, I need to check that place out.
Garo's like, I don't know. Maybe when we come back, let's do the job and then we'll talk. And then Nisk at this point, I mean, Brendan, I don't mean to tell your story here, but if he was like spent a month and was using his Outer Rim skills or whatever to learn about, he would know some stuff about that too at this point, right? Like he would have heard some
about the medical facility.
Yeah.
Because it was locked, right? It was like abandoned or something. Right?
Yeah, it's abandoned, and Garo is terrified of it. That's all you need to know.
I'm assuming like every time I bring it up, Jay kind of like diverts the conversation.
Yes.
So.
Oh yeah.
I'm not getting mad at him anymore because I'm just like, oh, God, like I can tell there's something about it, but I'm reminding him kind of in a friendly way. Like I still want to get in there because
I imagine Zoltan bringing it up with like everyone he meets. Like, hey, so what's up with that medical facility? Like, hey, what's going on with that medical facility?
Yeah.
Right? Like, let me know. And he literally gets the same reaction that Garo gives, like from everybody in town that he asks. Everybody's afraid of that place, and nobody's willing to go in there. Like people go in there and they don't come out.
Well, my knowledge of the Force is at least giving me enough. Like I'm not going to try and break in there during this whole month that we've had. You know, like I'm gonna wait until the time is right. But I haven't forgotten.
The dark side is there. It's bad.
Oh,
and you know. And you don't want to go there.
I need to be really, really good for a long time so I can make sure that it's not gonna like. I can build up my light side armor before we go in.
Zoltan, be good. That's funny.
Yeah. We'll see. No more cutting holes in anything, all right, buddy?
Look. Most the dark side is only Tim. Like Zoltan's at least halfway. You know.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. So we're heading to the ship.
Yep. So you guys make it to the ship.
What a night, and we're kind of like as we walk up to it, we're like I want to like take a moment to kind of appreciate like the fresh purple paint job on it. I'm like, they did a pretty good job on this thing.
The purple's a nice touch.
Yeah.
He sets his stuff down in the corner and starts pulling out like a makeshift cot and travel supplies. I mean, like,
yeah,
the guy is clearly very self-sufficient. Pulls his helmet off, sets it on the crate right there, sets his rifle down, unholsters his pistol, sets that down, just kind of starts getting organized, preparing for a trip.
So Garo, remembering the conversation that Nisk had before, he hops in the co-pilot chair.
When you kind of do that, I glance over at you and I'm like, "Are we good?"
And he's like, "Yeah, we're good."
All right, I'm gonna ask our passenger if he would like a cup of calf or anything before we go. Look, I'm good at making calf.
Zoltan.
I can heal you and I can make you coffee, so I'm good at like a lot of different things.
I think Nisk too. I would have noticed that Garo has been not as cocky and confident, but definitely focused like all day, sure. Like during this whole like pickup of the client, and he seems to be like on his game again, but definitely not cocky and like lively as he was before.
Sure. I'll kind of wait for everything to settle. We'll start flipping levers and pushing buttons and warming everything up.
Okay. Everything cycles up. I mean, beautifully. You have flown rebellion ships that weren't this.
Right. Well, because nothing in the rebellion was this well put together.
Right. Yeah. For a rebuild and a full overhaul, where they literally had to drag two sections of hull together and then weld it. Like they have really, those droids worked hard and patched this together.
As we get ready to fire up the burner, like the actual things to burn off the ground here, I look at Garo and I'm like, pay attention, kid. You never forget your first time. And I kick the engines on.
Oh. He definitely looks excited.
I'm actually brewing the coffee while this happens. I'm like, oh, and I feel the engines kick on. I'm like, I better get to my station. So I'm gonna come over here and support the scanners and all that stuff. I'm gonna man that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys fire it off, and you burn sky until you see lines, and you manage to make it to space.
Ooh.
Spoos.
Oh, I got it.
Congratulations.
I'm going to change my background to space.
Now, Garo, you've never been in space before.
Yeah.
How does Garo react to this?
So I would think he's trying to play cool a little bit still, but at the same time, I think Nisk can see like as soon as he sees space, like I'm sure you've seen it 100 times before in people who you've taken, either transporting people who've never been in before, but you just see this like wide-eyed wonder, and maybe even like, he's got the bug now. Like as soon as he sees it, you just know like this is going to be it for him.
So as I kind of see this, I imagine Fantooine is not a particular busy system, and there's not a lot of satellites or other ships coming and going. So I'll kind of like unstrap, push a few buttons, and look to Zoltan and be like, Zoltan, come help me with the calf, and give Garo just a minute like in the cockpit by himself to kind of take this. And I'm like, kids, you've got the helm. We're gonna make some calf.
So I know you well enough. I definitely get what you're I'm hearing what you're saying, so I'm gonna go in there, and
It doesn't take two people to make calf. Yes.
Yeah, but since I know that I already started the pot, it's probably ready by now. So
Right.
we can each pour a cup and enjoy a really nice cup. And I make a mean cup of calf, so it's actually gonna be a really good cup. Yeah, and so I think we share a moment, and it's like, hey, dude, we're actually off to our first step towards paying off some of this debt.
Yeah.
I think
feeling pretty good.
Garo, he's done a lot of planetary piloting, and so I think he's, I don't know, comfortable to a degree around the controls, but not around being without gravity, right? Like that's a whole different thing. So I think he's nervous, and without you guys being there, he is not trying to do anything crazy.
Sure.
He's just like,
I'm kind of hoping like if you don't touch anything, we won't die.
Yeah.
If you touch a few things, we probably won't die.
Yeah. He's actually, with you guys gone, I guess you wouldn't know this, but he's like, he has no need to like show off or prove anything. So he's just kind of like enjoying the moment, I'm still hearing weird music and stuff, Brendan. Is that space music?
It's part of the Bose surround sound in this thing. Up next is Alice in Chains' greatest hits.
Cool. So we're in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. After me and I guess while we're sitting there having calf, I'll look to Zoltan. I'm like, are you two gonna be okay?
I'm gonna like kind of exhale, and I'm like, things are better than they were a couple of weeks ago, and I've got a good feeling about this kid. He just needs a little. I gotta choose my words carefully because Jay can hear me here.
But Garo can't, so it's fine.
Yeah, my character can't.
We just need to keep an eye on him because, basically, our conversation is like I'm concerned a little bit about the midnight incident where with the axe in the doorway.
Me too, friend. Me too.
Yeah. I thought of and so while I'm talking to Ryan, that was me chatting. I'm like, hey, do we are we okay? So I thought for sure and so we're joking with the doors kind of closed. I'm like, I thought if he was gonna come for anybody, it would have been me. So
I did too.
Oh, thanks. But
so is it? I just kind of add a game here for a second. Is that you that sent me this message, Tim?
Yes.
Because you sent it. If you look at the chat bar, all I have is a message from at a 5-speeder heavy truck. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Do you remember? But do you remember the good times we had on that truck?
I do remember the good times we had on that truck. Not eating your food.
So for you guys watching at home right now, when you're sending private messages in this system that we're using, you can choose to send it from the person you are, your character name, or any vehicle or ship that we have under our possession. So I could be like, our ship is hailing this ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was accidentally set to the truck we had weeks and weeks
ago. I
ago.
was very confused.
So it's like my truck. I'm like Optimus Prime here, and I'm like, it is the sentience of all Autobots to communicate through the Force. I don't know.
Right. I couldn't tell if that was Brendan messing with me or you. I'm sure it wasn't Garo.
That was actually.
But yeah, we'll give Garo a minute, finish the calf, and then I'll go back in and assess our situation and start setting ourselves for.
I'm gonna kind of tap you on the shoulder with camaraderie, and I'm gonna go check on our passenger as well. So, yeah.
Okay, Brendan. So, is that it? What are we doing, buddy?
We're muting our microphones.
Brendan did lose his audio because I'm going to take on the role of Brendan's audio right now.
All right, audio.
Oh,
there we go.
All right.
Okay, I must have hit mute on my thing.
Yeah,
it happens.
So you managed to you get the information from Eric on the nav coordinates on where to punch in, and how to find the naval station, and takes you in. This is probably a little bit jarring for Nisk.
Yeah.
And maybe even for Zoltan a little bit. Because this is absolutely an Imperial shipyard. And there are Star Destroyers here, and there's TIE Defenders and gunboats and Lambda shuttles and all of these imperial looking things. But what sets this off as being okay is the fact that like it's all been repainted, like new like it's been tagged as this belongs to this gang or this belongs to this crew or whatever, and everybody's repurposed it and kind of it's all been reclaimed, right?
Right.
And so you suspect that if there is any imperial presence here, it's in hiding, like the anarchs control this now. But it's still jarring to see the weapons of war that were waged against you just milling about and you flying into that, right? Like you're normally flying in guns hot to something like that.
I grip the yoke a little tighter for a minute before I realize I can kind of let go.
Yep. You get a hail on the comms asking for your
transponders.
What's your flight plan? What are you looking for? And they're asking all that information.
Yeah, we send it over. The passenger transport requesting to dock.
While this is happening, I'm bringing Ryan or Nitsk rather a drink, but it's not calf this time. It's that really good Corellian whiskey that we got from Garo, right? Like I've been saving it. Yeah. That they build us for. But I'm not downing all of that. So I'm like, basically as like, dude, this is rough. I know it's even worse on you. I don't know how much of your backstory I know, but I know that this isn't easy on you, and I can kind of feel that.
Yeah.
I think Garo is he's never seen anything like this, so he's probably just
a structure floating in midair.
Right, just like wide-eyed and like, what is going on?
What is that ship?
Yeah.
What is that ship?
Yeah.
What kind of ship is that?
That makes sense. Yeah, he's probably doing that. Like, what? Have you seen that one before? Have you fought one of those? Like, he's just like...
You guys managed to dock. You're unhindered. There is a small escort of TIE fighters that kind of fly you in safely just to make sure that there's no funny business or anything like that. But again, these are marked with what you see to be this big logo, that's been painted on the outside, and it's been painted all over their wings to signify this is under new management.
I'm definitely
imperial.
uncomfortable flying in formation with TIE fighters.
Do we recognize the specific markings, like or is it completely unknown to us?
You don't recognize the logo. It's a blue lightning bolt with a yellow sunburst behind it. But you don't recognize that at all.
So it seems like New Republic colors, but it's certainly not the New Republic logo.
Right.
Nah. Yeah. But you guys managed to dock in one of the loading bays. There's several other ships in there with you. They're kind of cramming them in. This would be something that would fit several large, Lambda shuttles and other Imperial freighters that could come in here, dock, and be in a pressurized environment where they wouldn't have to use an airlock or something.
Right.
And could put larger freight into ships. And then so you guys dock, and Eric grabs his things and says, if I'm not mistaken, Barrow said that there's a container under the dashboard there with credits as well as per diem for your stay while I'm gone. He mentioned to tell you once we land here.
Of course.
And he said, I'll be back in a few days. Shouldn't be any trouble. I'll look forward to seeing you then. And then
I'll call you in 3 days if we haven't heard from you, and I give him my comm transmission. My transponder number.
Yep, he trades and gives you his as well, so that you could message him if needed.
Right.
And then he departs. Unless you guys want to do anything on the station, we can jump that forward.
So my question.
I think we definitely, and I don't know if this is probably we could do a whole show on. I think Jay definitely needs a tour of his first space station at some point, like all the shenanigans he could, because it's different. All these people are in their common element that is so completely foreign to Garo. that everyone else just treats as normal when every viewport we walk by will have a Garo face print on.
Yeah.
And this is also artificial gravity for the first time too. So he's not used to that. We are docked with the station when we unloaded him, right?
You're inside a hangar bay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this would be a great opportunity for us to acquire another ship. So we would have two.
I kind of start to shake my head. I'm like, we talked about the theatrics. Let's make a little bit of money, get out of one hole before we get in another.
I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna take what you said and take it to heart. And like, all right,
and then ignore
it.
it.
But if an opportunity presents itself, and I'm gonna leave it like ...
Yeah,
we'll figure
we'll
it
see
out
how good of a pilot Zoltan is.
Shouldn't be
all right. Bad. Everybody, thank you so much for watching Recover the Supplies. Thanks, I'm your Game Master, Brendan. We've got Ryan, Jay, and Tim. We will see you guys next time as Garo takes his first steps on a space station.
Whoop whoop.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.